They came from Manitoba and Saskatchewan, from Moose Jaw and Thunder Bay. And until now, they were adversaries. Most had been left unprotected by their former teams, left to resume their careers in the uncertainty of a first-year team in the tropics. Given a fresh start, these proud athletes wore the crest of the Florida Panthers and touched glory in a fairy tale season.
Melody crosses the line. He's got a goal. Melody to the net. Scores! Good! Get through. Fitzgerald to the net. Walks in. Fires a shot. Score! His second of the night. And a shot-handed goal. Murphy scores!
They would go on to become the most successful first-year team in NHL history. This is their dramatic story of a team that had the NHL spinning, that played every game and every shift with heart and soul. South Florida. For many, it is the vacation capital of America. It is the gateway to the tropics, where life is a little slower. It is here that Wayne Huizinga's vision, the same vision which made Blockbuster Entertainment a dynamic entertainment company and brought the Florida Marlins to life, set out on a new challenge. Undaunted by his many skeptics, Huizinga brought a National Hockey League franchise to South Florida. They would be called the Florida Panthers, named for the endangered species that has roamed the Everglades for centuries. While some in the press called it Wayne's folly, he immediately hired the best people he could find to run the new team. Huizinga named as president Bill Torrey, who had built the dynasty on Long Island, leading the New York Islanders to 4 Stanley Cup championships. As their first general manager, the Panthers selected Hall of Famer and 2-time Stanley Cup winner Bob Clarke. Clark's first move was to hire as head coach Roger Nielsen, a successful strategist who coached the previous year for the New York Rangers. And finally, Huizinga asked Dean Jordan, fresh from his startup experience with the Marlins organization, to come on board and market this new team. Fate smiled on the Panthers early when Bill Torrey called heads for the right to select first for goaltenders in the expansion draft.
From the Sunshine State, the Florida Panthers select from the Vancouver Canucks, John Van Beesbroek.
The Panthers' first ever selection would be a boyish-looking goalie who had won a Vezina Trophy with the Rangers as the NHL's best goaltender. If John Van Beesbroek was to become the heart of this team, then this man would be its soul. Brian Skrudland, traded from Montreal, left unprotected by Calgary, immediately became the team's choice as the Panthers' first captain. Beneath the palm trees in Pompano, a new sound was heard. It was the scratching and clawing of a new breed of cat in South Florida.
And let's do the same one every time. He's going over, it's going to go D to D, and then you can make your play. To the middle, to the center man, to the short side. And they got
Roger Nielsen had to evaluate his talent quickly and design a system that best fit the abilities of his new team.
Hit him in the middle. Go ahead, Skate.
During the process, these hockey nomads began to get acquainted.
My first question was, who are my teammates? When I found out about being, selected to play with the Panthers, I remember hearing Scott Mellenby's name and Dave Lowry and Andy Lomack and Johnny Van Beesbrook and Mark right off the bat. Here's 20 new guys, and you knew that you hated all these guys before you started, and how quickly that changed.
The Panthers opened their inaugural season beginning a 3-game road trip in Chicago. At 12:31 of the first period, these Panthers made history.
Niedermeyer walks in front of the net and Belfort sliding out with a pad save, loose puck, score! The first goal in the history of the Florida Panthers, and it's a power play goal.
Scott Mellenby found the net for the first time ever by a Florida Panther. The Blackhawks realized they were in for a tough fight as the Panthers scored 3 more to gain a tie in their very first official NHL game.
Continue to work hard. Looking for the hustle to pay off, and it does! Screwman!
The dream had suddenly become reality. After a close loss in St. Louis, the Panthers traveled to Tampa Bay for a showdown with their cross-state rivals. Tampa's general manager, Phil Esposito, publicly called the Panthers Pussycats and predicted a Tampa massacre. Before an NHL record crowd of over 27,000, John Van Beesbrook was simply perfect.
Oh, and a great save by John Van Beesbrook. In front, Bradley, shutting the door, Van Beesbrook. Rookie Chris Pratt, centers. DeMaio, right on top of Van Beesbrook.
When Scott Levin scored on a deflection, one goal was all this gritty team needed to gain its first victory as a National Hockey League franchise. For Van Beesbrook, the 2-0 shutout was an omen of things to come.
We shut them out right in their barn, and we came in there and we did what we had to do, and it just led to the attitude that every game we play, we can win.
Opening night, yes, the inaugural night, Panther program. Come on, everybody.
Yep, can't get a ticket to this one.
Having broken the ice, the team came back to South Florida for an unforgettable NHL home opener against the 2-time Cup champion Pittsburgh Penguins.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the
The man whose dedication and vision brought the excitement and drama of the National Hockey League to South Florida welcomed this sellout crowd.
We are very excited this evening, not only it's the first opening night of the Panthers, but because we are one of only 9 cities in this country that has all 4 major professional sports.
Moments later, the National Hockey League exploded into South Florida.
And a big save by John Van Beesbrook.
While the Pens escaped with a 1-goal win, the message was unmistakable. The fire burned deeply in these Panthers.
Davidoff, Mellenby with a shot, score!
South Florida had fallen in love with Roger Nielsen's collection of blue-collar strappers.
Off the ice, Roger marches to his own drum, but I think that adds to his personality. I think there's a humanness there that you don't always see in a coach. He's not cut and dried like a lot of people have in their own mind as an image of what a coach should be. I think the players can relate to that a little bit. There's a personality there that I think is particularly good for us here in this market. With the young team that we have, I think the players relate to that.
I got a bike, and just about right. It's about 5 miles there and 5 miles back, and it's a pretty good ride and it's some exercise. It's nice to be able to have a job where you can come to work in shorts or a t-shirt and take your shirt off on the ride home, and that's my kind of job.
Often mistaken for an aging surfer, head coach Roger Nielsen is definitely a free spirit.
I like being around the water. It's great at night hearing the waves come in, and I think when I retire, I'll retire to Hawaii or someplace where you can hear the surf coming in. Way to get back, way to get back. Leave it, Peter. Come on, yell for that puck, you defenseman. Good play, man.
Twice in October, Tampa Bay visited South Florida, believing it was payback time. How wrong they were.
Severin, a power play goal!
After 3 rounds in the battle for the championship of Florida, the Lightning were still searching for a victory. Florida's first trip into Canada came in early November. After splitting with Toronto and Quebec, the Panthers traveled to the famed Montreal Forum. '18-year-old rookie Rob Niedermeyer was unawed by Montreal tradition. And another rookie, Jesse Belanger, left unprotected by the Canadiens, made it 2-0. And Montreal goalie Patrick Roy was talking to himself. The Panthers used Roger Nielsen's choking neutral zone defense to smother the Canadiens' attack. When Randy Gillen scored, Van Beesbrook had more than he needed to shock the mighty Canadiens.
Covering up is John Van Beesbrook.
As word spread of Florida's 3-1 win in the Cathedral of Hockey, the Panthers had become a genuine curiosity.
You know, looking around the room after we won, and some of the guys are going, hey, I've been playing this game for years and I never won in the Montreal Forum. You know, like, this is really, guys, really, this is a special moment, and remember it, because it's going to take this for us to be, you know, more and more successful.
The success continued in Ottawa.
Fitzgerald, center for Melody, scores! Scott Melody, and it's 1-0. Great pass. Yashin with a shot. Oh, what a save by Mark Fitzpatrick.
When Jody Hull scored the game winner in the final minute, the Panthers completed their initial Canadian swing 3-1. This gutsy first-year team had passed a major test. Back at the Miami Arena, Floridians were buying Panther merchandise at a record pace. And in the building, the Panther Patrol was spreading the gospel. A team of dedicated professionals raised the first-year curtain in record time. A team assembled by Vice President of Business Operations, Dean Jordan.
We, in reality, had just a little over 3 months. We opened our office doors on June 1st and started hiring people at that time. We didn't have our full staff on board until mid-July. So it was a situation where people were working, you know, 14, 16-hour days, 7 days a week, doing everything we could to get this franchise off and running.
And run they did. And work. And play defense.